Yes, indeed. The Chosen Ones brass band. So we got it right that time. Right here on WWOZ 90.7 FM New Orleans. I believe we're going to bring Wilbert Rollins Jr., Mr. Wilbert Rollins Jr., to the microphone. I'm assuming that microphone's going to work for you, sir.
Is it hot?
It's hot. All right, it's good to see you.
Good to see you also, man.
And I wish people can see you because there's a video camera right there because everybody's sharply dressed, including the gentleman leading the band here. So, did you pick some of that stuff up in France? Because I'm just wondering. I know you bring the band over there, so there's some sharp threads there. So.
I picked this up in the States, but I got the style from France.
Okay.
I like the way they dress out there.
Okay. Well, I'm always interested in beyond the actual notes on the page. What do you teach your students about being a musician? What's it mean to be a musician?
I don't know. I think the philosophy of teaching music is just a medium. The first thing you have to do, because again, we're responsible for young adults, young men and women, and my philosophy personally is I'd like to raise a productive citizen first, because instruments, they have a power within themselves. When you play an instrument and it vibrates through the body, the brain sends off this endorphin, which satisfies the body. It's the same thing that happened the endorphins just take over the body, and they have a power over the body. A lot of people call, the drug addicts, drug heads and all this, they call us band heads because technically we're addicted to the instruments. We want to play all the time. So I think the first thing is the music is the medium that we use, and because the instruments have so much power. But the first thing is to produce a productive citizen, man. You have to have morals and scruples. You have to have feeling and love for yourself and one another, and just be a good person. In order to be able to work well with others and the band director that I am today. It's an easy job. It's like I don't even go to work. The instruments have the power over the children. So now if you're not going to class, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I take it from you. And now you realize you need it. So now you go to class, you make the 2.8 grade point average you need to stay in the band, and then after, say, 2 or 3 years, if you've been a freshman and a sophomore, then you've become responsible. So now I don't have to say, okay, go to class because, you're already going to class. You understand that you're going to class for you and your future and your children and your children's children. And then when you go to class, you learn the mathematical skills and English skills you need to be a productive citizen.
Did you grow up under somebody that was a teacher like yourself? Do you have any people that come to mind?
I have a couple of people, man. Mr. Herman Jones was my middle school band director. He taught me the importance of reading music. My father is Wilbert Rollins Sr. I don't know if you know that. He's Irma Thomas's drummer for 27 years. He's played with Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. I remember coming home one day and my brother and I were young kids and we saw this skinny African-American guy with big black glasses on. They were playing chess, and Lawrence and I laughed like, how can this blind guy play chess? Not knowing that Ray Charles was sitting in my living room, and he had already memorized the chessboard, and they were talking in code, C4 to this, that, and I was like, so Lawrence and I, we didn't know any better, but yeah, I had a whole lot of influences. Walter Harris was my high school band director. He was the one that made sure I was assisted in making sure I was a productive citizen. My father, Wilbur Rollins Sr., he made sure he let me know at a young age he was not my friend, he was my father. He had to raise a young man in this inner city of New Orleans. So, and my mother and my college band director, Dr. Isaac Griggs, Elijah Brimmer, all of the elder band directors who taught me the importance of being a band director, not just a music teacher. You have these children's lives in their hand. Most of them are seniors. Yeah, I'm looking around now, and honestly, I think I'm at a point in my career where the children are starting to get it. A couple of accolades are coming along, things are happening, a certain amount of respect has been given to my name, and I'm watching the children now starting to really, really listen. Last year we graduated, I think, about 26 seniors. Maybe 97% all went off to college on scholarships, full scholarships.
Oh.
The other ones who didn't go, they elected to do something else, but they had the opportunity to go. This year, I see 100% of the senior class graduating, receiving full paid scholarships. Jonathan Tasson, where are you going next year? Texas Southern. Where you going? Southern University. Where you going? Texas Southern U. Southern of Jackson State. Southern University. Jackson State. Talladega. Southern University. Lane College. I mean, everybody has. We already not even in one of the who did not ask. I asked you yet. Where do you want to go to college? Tuskegee. You know, we took a trip last year to Tuskegee, and the band director saw him as a sophomore, and took a liking to Paul, and they're in constant contact with him and his family, and he fell in love with the university. I think he liked the cafeteria more than anything because we couldn't get him out the cafeteria. But I mean, it's I don't care what it is that's going to get you to college. We just want you to get there, and you're a productive citizen already. You can play, so you're going to provide for the band. You're going to get a full scholarship. You want for nothing. You're going to college, and you're going to play your instrument, something you love to do. So, I mean, this is a win-win all around, you know, and then we're producing productive citizens. Now the junior who's seeing the senior graduate and go off to college, now he starts to work hard so that he can achieve the same amount of success. The sophomore sees the junior working. Now the sophomore, he starts earlier now, you know, and when you get in high school, you're in the 9th grade, the first year it's like a little, you know, you're just hanging around trying to find your way. But if you see a pattern, 10th graders are doing this, 11th graders are doing that, 12th graders are doing this, you fall in line, you know. And now I think at Landry Walker and Eldridge Charter Schools Association, well, I think we've kind of figured it out. You know, you figured it out. You provide for the children all that they need. You have an environment conducive for teaching and learning, which means that there's, you know, you don't have all the foolishness going on in the building. I must admit, I think that Eldridge Charter Schools and Landry Walker, Mr. Tyrone Casby, Mr. Stuart Gay, all of these guys have really done a great job with figuring it out. You know, the adults have figured out how to provide for the young children of today's society. They're not lost, we're lost. Sometimes we get mad at them because they don't have to memorize 20 phone numbers. They don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. You know, we look at them and like, well, y'all don't have to do, they don't, they have a phone now. You know, so we have to catch up to the times because we are responsible for training them. We are responsible for training them. Absolutely. And that's it in a nutshell. We have to catch up to them and teach them how to use the technology. Don't just sit on and play Bubble Crush or whatever game you know. There's a wealth of knowledge in your hand. You know, use it. You know, everybody has 186 hours in a week. It's according to what you do with your time, whether or not you're going to be successful. I am a corporation. You are a corporation. You take your time. Corporations spend money to get a return. You know, your time spent on practicing these instruments and whatever you're doing, it's an expenditure. But you have to expect a return on it. You can't play video games for 6 hours. You're going to be great at the video game. Yeah. But it won't produce a return. Can't buy groceries with. Can't buy, right. Can't buy groceries. Spend your time. Pay your even if you take your time and put an hour or two on your instrument, it'll pay the bills, you know. Absolutely. So, like I said, I think we finally tried to figure it out and not force the children to live the way that we live. They're different. There are times they're coming up in a different time. We have to change and understand their environment because their environment is not our environment. Absolutely. You know, well, we are the adults, and we can adjust to them.
And if you're just tuning in, we are here with Mr. Wilbert Rollins Jr., and we misnamed the brass band earlier. You know, I think the reasons things like that can happen is because of the proliferance of great brass bands. But the one we have with us today are the Chosen Ones brass band from Landry Walker High School. And we do have another song queued up for. What are we going to hear next?
I think we'll play Whoopin' Blues. We're trying to stay in the traditional area. We'll give you another contemporary piece later on, but we're also trying to see about, now there's a lot of brass bands that are coming up in high school, but maybe some people are kind of losing contact of this music, you know. This music is I like the traditional brass band music. I love it because it connects us to our forefathers. It connects us back all the way to Uncle Lionel and the Olympia Brass Band. Some of these kids would never have heard these names, but we sit down and we put the 8-track on, you know, the cassette tape.
Oh, you're getting old school now.
Yeah, you know,
8-track.
Because again, I have to expose them, you know. Yes. And then we listen to it, and it's like, wow, I like that. Okay, well, let's learn it, let's play it. And those guys were great musicians, you know. So now we will do Whoopin' Blues, right, guys?
All right.
Whoopin' Blues.
Whoopin' Blues, all right. Once again, it's the Chosen Ones brass band from Landry Walker High School. All right, the Chosen Ones brass band from Landry Walker High School, led by Mr. Wilbert Rollins Jr. I believe we have a couple students to speak with. Who's going to come to the microphone here? We got a chosen spokesperson. Introduce yourself, and if you could, introduce the band.
My name Paul Williams. We got Jonathan Tassie, Spencer May, Tia Davis, Charles Wade, Tyree Davis, Byron Scraughter, Taj Maggie, Carl McInnes, Christopher Turner, and Trenton Butler.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So how did you come about joining this band?
I've been playing music for about like 6 years. So when I just got in the band, they recommended me to get in.
So what is it like to have to sometimes not go out and run around with your friends, but to play music, to rehearse? I mean, how did you develop that discipline? What was it that you like, the mindset that you had to have?
If you want to progress, you got to you gotta get when you put in.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So what do you tell your friends when they want to run around, but you gotta stay home and work?
I'll be at band practice, so I can't really tell them anything.
So that you're already where you need to be. So, do you have any brass bands that you look up to that say like that are out there on records or going out on tour that you've been paying attention to?
Not really.
All right, all right. So Dirty Dozen, Hot 8, any of that?
I listen to Lil Hot 8.
All right. So we were just talking about there's traditional music and then there's the contemporary. How do you handle a contemporary song when you work on an arrangement? What's the process there?
I like contemporary. I mean, more traditional than contemporary because it's where it's formed from.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I hear that we have somebody to thank here. Did you bring an appetite? I believe the Reginelli's is going to be bringing some pizza after the gig, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, there is a check to be given. I'm going to bring. Come on up and introduce yourself.
Let's do this way.
It's a little bit of an obstacle course, folks.
Let's do this way. It's not easy. I've been here with 15. How many guys have we got in here? a lot of musicians here. I'm Leslie Cooper. I'm the producer of School Groove. And come up here because I got something special. Um, First of all, I want to tell all these young men and ladies that how much I really, really admire you for your dedication and what you're doing for the music. And how many kids have you led through, you think, through your band directing days?
I've been doing this 28 years, so you talk about maybe 120, maybe 150 every year. Summer band programs, private lessons. It's a large number, yeah. It's a lot.
We're well into the thousands of young men and women that you have led into adulthood through your music, and we want to thank you for that.
And
It, Mhm.
just so people know, just a couple days ago, Mr. Rollins was chosen as one of the 300 for 300 on
Yes,
all right.
indeed.
Not
Yes,
not
indeed.
I mean just a couple days ago. I believe it was I see it listed
On
as
Sunday.
on Sunday. So
Wow.
congratulations.
Thank you
That-
for bringing that
there are a
up.
lot of amazing people. For you to be among that 300 says a great deal.
Yeah, that's the same thing I said. I woke up Sunday morning. I just got back from Paris, starting 3 new schools in Paris in last week, and it went well. I love the environment. I love the fact that they want to learn the music. They really want it. They're very desperate to learn the music. And Sunday morning, my former principal and Ms. Irma Thomas, kind of gave me a little shout out. So
Oh, nice.
it's nice. It's still sinking in. I want to see the list of the other 300. I want to see, who else is on the list.
It's a serious group of people. I can tell you that right now.
I could imagine, man. I could imagine.
We can see if we can dig that up for you. But WWOZ, in conjunction with the Gia Maoni Prima Foundation. Y'all all know who Louis Prima was, right? All right, well, this is the Gia Maoni Prima Foundation want to give to Landry Walker Band Program a check for $1,000. It's going to help a little bit. Thank you so much for being here. We want to thank Reginelli's again. They're going to have some pizza for y'all. And I want to hear another song because I haven't danced enough today.
And I was wondering, we were mentioning there's going to be a contemporary song. I'm just wondering what this song is and why was it chosen? What was the impetus for it?
I think the band has a couple of songs that they like, and they go out and perform. Every audience, there's 1 or 2 or 3 songs that every audience requests. And they were coming on the radio. I think they said, let's just play this one. It's always hot. So this is one of theirs. They've kind of fallen in love with it. Talking Loud by the Reverb Brass Band.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, without further ado, the Chosen Ones Brass Band from Landry Walker High School. Yes, indeed. That was a beautiful way to end. Very powerful. Now go enjoy yourselves a slice or two of pizza. Mr. Rollins, once again, I want to congratulate you on being honored, but more than anything else, just thank you for doing what you're doing, because I think that New Orleans is built upon the shoulders of people like you who decide to make sacrifices for them. You know, you could just be doing anything. And I know I work around teachers a lot. I know how hard it is to do what you do. And it's different every year because, as you said, you have to adapt to the young as they're growing into the lives they're growing. So you make the city a better place. You make the world a better place because of what you do here in New Orleans. So
sure, thank you, Doc. And then they come back too, man.
Yes, they do.
They come back like in about 5 or 10 years, and they say, "Mr. Rollins, meet my wife and my children." You know, and that's the payback. You know,
absolutely.
That's the payback. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to teach their children.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I want to keep the vibe going. I want to play something from 1975, Leroy Jones and the Hurricane.